The United Nations is the single biggest platform in the world. It is the largest assembly of nations and peoples. Established in 1945 in San Francisco, United States, by the generation of world leaders at the time. The UN serves as a check on global excesses, even though the 5 permanent members of the Security Council wield a veto that is applied to disengage concerted actions. However, in a nutshell, the government of the UN system is all-embracing. Founding fathers had a foresight, telescoping into a vision that incorporates past experiences, present-day situations, and that which is yet to come in the future. The UN has not been dealing with a static world. Societies and situations evolve, and the concomitant circumstances present eventualities, some of which were foreseen. This then is the backdrop of the 77th UN anniversary themes: solidarity, sustainability, and science as the responses to the unfolding scenario. Ghana, a staunch member of the United Nations joining the organization in 1958, has been a significant role player in global affairs. This may be viewed in terms of contribution of human resources to UN institutions, advocacy, special campaigns, interventions, peacekeeping operations, among others. UN Resident Coordinator in Ghana, Mr. Charles Abani, gives an overview of the world today, particularly how the issues confronting mankind on this planet may be handled for the smoothness and the certainty of end results.
The world today is facing a number of global challenges. The challenges of the recent COVID-19 pandemic, food systems and food security challenges, climate change and the impacts of biodiversity loss, and of course, global conflicts which seem to be on the rise. All of these, coupled with the financial implications of them, are having a devastating effect on poor people and eroding the gains of the Sustainable Development Goals that have been achieved up until date.
What are some of the issues that stand asymmetrical to man's quest for a better life in a better world? Conflicts, human rights issues, climate change, pandemics, economic meltdowns, social injustices, you name them. Solidarity is being operationalized everywhere as nations understand that they need to come together in confronting common problems. So solutions have become transnational in nature. For instance, regional consultations and organizations reflect a certain togetherness in the midst of fluid situations. These are the natural conditions, punks, and other implications of the globalized world.
Working on this is going to be extremely important as we move forward. And 3 key themes come to mind. The first is solidarity. The second is sustainability. And the third important element is science. Working on these 3 concepts and really doubling down on them will ensure that we get to accelerate the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals and make sure that those gains are sustained and retained. The world has seen the power of global solidarity in fighting the COVID-19 pandemic, whether it's in the immediate response or in the science that we developed together to actually create a vaccine and rapidly deploy it globally, ensuring that poor countries and poor citizens also have access to this. That global solidarity is greatly appreciated and must also translate itself into national and local solidarity, working with government in the lead, but also working to ensure that the private sector and civil society are brought to the table. In Ghana, this is essential to achieving a Ghana that is more self-reliant and a wiser Ghana. This is absolutely at the core of achieving global unity and progress.
Sustainability relates more to the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. Things that are sustainable are the creations that are able to outlive present circumstances, becoming a template or references for the future. Here, Mr. Charles Abani will be joined by the UNESCO representative in Ghana, Mr. Abdulrahmani Diallo, in the explanation of it.
the world solidarity, the global solidarity that the UN bring on its platform. And we are binded, I will say, on this platform with sustainable goals, which are the Sustainable Development Goals. The member states, the world committed in 2015 on 17 goals to address the major challenges that we have globally. So from SDG 1 to SDG 17 for education, health, gender, poverty, ocean issues, cities issue, all of them, climate change, encompassed in this matrix of the 17 development goals. So this is all about the sustainability that we are all to address, all member states committed to, including the member states of Ghana.
On issues of sustainability, we must work in ways that actually ensure that Ghana and Ghanaians are at the heart of the work that we do. That everywhere our work is enabling Ghana and Ghanaians to take the lead on all the development initiatives that we are pushing and supporting Ghana to achieve. Built and hinged around Ghana's own medium-term policy development framework and its own aspirations for self-reliance and a wiser Ghana.
Science is identified as the bar stopper in all the dynamics playing out before us as a people. Science, the intellectual and practical activity encompassing the systematic study of the structure and behavior of the physical and natural world through observation and experiment. Technology, the application of scientific knowledge for practical purposes, especially in industry. Innovation means developing original concepts and is a driver of reimagined business. It creates different paradigms in order to identify new opportunities and the best methods to solve current problems.
The third component is science. We all know from the science that we have that there are impending issues that we have to deal with on the climate front. If Ghana is to be more competent and capable and fit for the future in a globe which is going to be less climate friendly, where biodiversity loss is increasing, where some of the harmful activities that taking place in the natural environment, for instance, illegal mining, are to be addressed, then of course the science must be followed. We know that Ghana wishes to become more self-reliant and resilient in the face of these global challenges. What the VNR taught us in 2022 was that investing in science is absolutely paramount.
Behind this agenda of science, there's a lot of aspects, of course, that are to be addressed and that we have to support the government to ensure that they have a comprehensive national roadmap on science and all the digital revolution that we are in, that we have to ensure that Ghana is there also well equipped, well ready with all the citizens, also with equipped with the needed skills to be able to navigate in this world.
They come under one belt with the acronym STI. At this point, the eminent UN personalities serving in Ghana will be joined by senior Ghanaian research scientists to explain this process. The new additions are Professor Paul Bosu, the Director General of the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research CSIR, and Dr. Wilhelmina Quay, the Director of the Science and Technology Policy Research Institute of CSIR. The four gives global picture of subject matter, contextualizes it and their nuances.
If you talk about Ghana as a country as we are today, we have also from perhaps even before independence, we've had the scientific culture developing gradually over the years. Many of us know of the late Professor Alote, the well-renowned mathematician, and his contributions to this world and to Ghana in particular. I recall that he was the chairman of the CSR Council for perhaps about a decade. He was at KNUST and so on. We can talk about Professor Frimpong Boateng, a renowned heart surgeon who recently was the Minister of Environment, Science and Technology, and many others.
What we are trying to do with the SDGs, that is the Sustainable Development Goals, is to try to make it more localized, meaning that we are going down to the district level to capture issues that concerns all the development goals that we have. We need to track as a country, to engage with them, to look at what poverty levels are there, how many people are in school who are supposed to be in school, what is the educational level, what is their health conditions. We go all the way to looking at the ICT issues and all that.
Science is crucial for our development. If we take COVID, but for the understanding that we know about viral biology and all that, I wonder how many more people would have died in this country and other places in the world. So science is good. We have to embrace science. If we give ourselves to learning of science and understanding, we will know that it's really very interesting. So I encourage all educationists involved in STEM education to continue to hammer that.
Science, technology, and innovation are the driving forces of almost all the economies for now. Because you cannot talk about any economy that is doing well without science, technology, and innovation. It connects to all the sectors. It connects to industry, it connects to agri, it connects to services. Science drives the economy and it's cross-cutting. The nations that we call well-developed are being developed and driven by science. We need to bring science down to the language that people will understand. We are not just there in the laboratories. Okay, so the ecosystem has several actors, and this particular research is looking at that several and the individual challenges and how best we can solve such challenges. And we are doing this with Mother Ministry, that's Ministry of Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation. It's actually their project that we are helping them.
We support the Ghana government on the science agenda, ensuring that they have a roadmap, a science, technology and innovation strategy, action plan, that also we're supporting the relevant ministries, Ministry MESTI, Ministry of Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation, and its agencies such as CSIR and CEPRI that are the one in front and leading this agenda in Ghana.
The poverty gap that we have in the world is not a gap because of natural resources, but it's a technology gap. And Ghana cannot be left out of this technology gap. We have to move forward.
As we celebrate UN Day here in Ghana and acknowledge the great work of all the different constituents here in Ghana with the support of the UN, and also get ready to implement this new cooperation framework that charts a course to support Ghana on its journey. We wish Ghana every success on its own mission and call on you all for the support, the solidarity, the investments in sustainability, the investments in science and peace that will make Ghana achieve its vision for self-reliance and a Ghana beyond aid.
In the words of renowned Ghanaian security expert Dr. Vladimir Ntwidanso, the UN has not done well enough, but a world without the UN will have been disastrous. Dr. Ntwidanso, who is the Dean of Academic Affairs at the Ghana Armed Forces Command, Staff and College, apparently situates his comments in the fluid situation that engulfs the club, where machinations of individual members undermine the UN's attempt at solving problems whilst figuring out a world without the UN as hopeless. It is just semantics, as closer analysis of this view of the world body only plugs into it as the providence for the world and her people. Interministerial Ad hoc Planning Committee of the observance of the 77th United Nations Day in Ghana was chaired by Mrs. Joyce Asamoah Krantain, a director at the Multilateral Desk of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration. Members of the fourth preparatory meeting included Mr. Paul Kujo, Mrs. Monica Boham, Mr. Christopher Gaba, Ms. Rita Asa, Mrs. Linda Hogba Ajanku, Ms. Esi Sechua Tenkrai, Mr. Isaac Ni Ama Boche, Ms. Vera Santua Menu, Ms. Nana Adjoa Karendufu, and Ms. Emanuela Armstrong, all of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Others were Madame Cynthia Pra of the United Nations, Mr. Ernest Jima Dankwa, and Mr. Ananiyao Kuonu, both of the Ghana United Nations Students Association GUNSA, Ms. Grace Abla Asempa of the Ministry of the Interior, Police Inspector Emmanuel Ado Asare, Colonel B. Nyante of the Ghana Armed Forces, Mr. George Okanse of the State Protocol, Mr. Isaac Yao Semoji of the Information Services Department, Mr. Salifu Abdul Rahman of the Ghanaian Times newspaper, the duo of Ms. Ese Ajaben and Mr. Gilbert Kekeli Jekete of the Lifelink Ghana Friendship, as well as Mr. Solomon Boy and Mr. Napoleon Atukito of the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation.